would you feel growing up in a world where you could be arrested for singing and dancing in public? That is the most absurd thing. Imagine growing up in a country where you were not allowed to sing or dance or express yourself freely or even show your hair just because you're a girl. In an act of defiance and civil disobedience, Yasemin bravely filmed herself walking the streets without her head covering, singing and encouraging girls to do the same. This act was considered a crime in the eyes of the Islamic Republic. Yasemin was arrested and sentenced to 5 years in prison in 2019. Why are they afraid of our hair? Why are they afraid of us singing, dancing, expressing ourselves? What is so evil and criminal about that? So I just want to say that women's lives matter. Young girls' lives matter. And that's what this show is about. I am speaking up for these 2 girls who were murdered, brutally murdered, for the most ridiculous reasons. There is no reason for it, but the reasons that they came up with are pretty stupid. Just stupid. 22-year-old Mahsa Amini died in the custody of Iran's morality police in September. Iranians around the world, especially women, have taken to the streets to rebel against the country's theocratic regime. A particular source of rage are the laws requiring women to wear the hijab, which is a headdress to cover up their hair. These 2 beautiful, innocent young women were arrested by the morality police. She actually had her headdress on, but there was a tiny little strand of hair, like this tiny little strand of hair showing, and they thought it was inappropriate. So they arrested her, they threw her into a van, and they took her away. 3 days later, it was announced that she died.
Multiple sources said she was beaten in a police truck while in custody. The state released CCTV footage claiming no violence occurred and she collapsed from a heart attack.
Arrested by Tehran's morality police for not wearing her headscarf correctly.
Iranian officials saying she suffered a heart attack from a previous health condition, but Amini's father calling that a lie, saying she had no prior health issues and was killed at the hands of police.
Of course, the police came up with a bullshit story that she died of heart failure. I find that really implausible that an innocent, healthy, normal, young 22-year-old woman is just going to suddenly die of heart failure. Look at that beautiful, innocent face. She did not know that this tiny strand of hair would end up costing her life. Women have no choice but to obey these misogynistic laws or face 72 lashes, a jail sentence, and a fine. She ended up paying with her life. The atrocities and brutality against women continue in Iran to this moment. Growing crackdown on women protesting for their human rights.
The morality police have been enforcing those rules for 4 decades. Their confrontations with young women on many occasions have led to verbal abuse and physical violence.
Police have moved in with clubs and sticks and live ammunition. Shot in the center of Karaj on the evening Ms. Najafi walked to town. She was killed on the same city street, shot in the chest, neck and face by what appears to be a shotgun.
Students are openly screaming and chanting.
There really is this groundswell of rage and anger and just exasperation with this morally, financially corrupt regime.
We are here to be the voice of the people in Iran.
It is so important for us to be here.
We are behind you all.
We will never give in, we will never give up, we will never back down, and we will never, ever surrender.
Mahsa Amini's death just ignited this spark. It's evolved into a movement that's calling for human rights,
including the right to choose whether or not to wear a hijab, the compulsory head covering.
For kids, they could be punished for it. It's so painful, and when I remember what we went through, when I feel like they have to go through what I went through, it's very painful.
God forbid they should see our hair. It's so threatening that we women have hair.
Are banned from attending sports arenas, riding bicycles and singing solo in public, and have to sit at the back of the bus.
They're denied the highest offices of the country. They can't be president. They can't be in any major decision-making position.
Young girls are being arrested for singing and dancing. Nika and Serena, just like Mahsa Amini, have become martyrs and symbols for the movement too. The reason I created this channel was to be a voice for women around the world who don't have a voice. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I apologize if YouTube is constantly putting commercials on. I just would like to bring you information that I think is important for the world to know. Her name is Nika Shakarami. She disappeared in Tehran on September 20th after burning her headscarf in protest and being followed by security forces. The government pretty much abducted her because she was protesting. Eventually, of course, she died. They stole her body for a secret burial and pressured relatives to make false statements about how she died. Serena, September 22nd, she went to join the protest and was beaten to death by Iranian forces. This story of what's happening to the women and the girls in Iran is too disturbing, too upsetting to me to ignore and turn a blind eye, pretend it's not happening because it's a Muslim thing. No, this is a woman thing, a human thing, the human rights, not just women's rights, because women's rights are human rights. I really feel the need to stand up with the Iranian women and support them. Nothing terrifies theocratic, religious old men more than bright, beautiful, intelligent women and girls who think critically and desire freedom, and now who are willing to stand up to them and fight for what they believe they are deserving of. Now we have schoolgirls protesting, and now boys' schools are joining along, and it is sweeping the country. Former President Jimmy Carter wrote, "I have become convinced that the most serious and unaddressed worldwide challenge is the deprivation and abuse of women and girls, largely caused by false interpretation of carefully selected religious texts and a growing tolerance of violence against innocent girls who were killed simply because they were girls. One, because she had a little strand of hair showing, and another one because she was protesting her death. I have to speak up." Social media and these videos are vital to their cause. This is how they are raising awareness about what is happening. The government has shut down the internet. Their voices need to be heard in their fight for freedom. Women's rights are human rights, and it's time that we made some changes. They are pleading to the world for support. Help them, please.
I was so angry. I was really sad. I was crying. The world has to know what is going on right now.
I feel like a moral responsibility, especially like when it comes to my people, to keep advocating for them, like posting every single day, trying to share as much as I can. Even though I don't have a big account, like it's potential for like the domino effect of like, okay, I'm going to share something, okay, maybe somebody else will, and it'll just go down the line.
They are using social media to get their messages and their stories out there, and I could not sit idly by. If my little channel can help reach one person who feels moved to do something, I will have served the purpose of creating conversations with Goddess. Thank you for listening. Thank you for caring. Thank you for doing something. And you can do something. You could write to Congress. You could help share the stories with other people, bring attention to what is going on in Iran. To this day, the protests continue, the violence continues, the sanctions and the violence against these young women. It's an outrage.
Political system in Iran is designed so that there is no change.
I could just see like the pain in their eyes and like the frustration. It's an everyday thing. It's like having to worry about like ever going out the door, like who's gonna harass you. I just ended up seeing that video and I was like, all right, like it's just time. It's just me cutting my hair like in solidarity, like just trying to spread awareness. Horrible as this sounds, it's like stuff like this happens all the time and it's never really taken seriously by the Western media. The point of this is to like spread awareness. They have no access to the resources in order to be able to like share this information.
And this is not a situation that we should waste time. They do not have any access to the internet. They do not have any access to WhatsApp.
Like they're really counting on us.
They need help. They're getting killed. They're getting arrested.
This isn't like just like a feminism issue. This is
basic human rights. That's one of the main things that they want, basic human rights.
High school girls are off with their hijab, singing the protest anthem, demanding freedom. Iranian youth, angry and defiant, despite the regime's brutal crackdown.
There are girls there who say, I wish I was born a boy.
For as long as I remember, I wanted to be a boy. I even asked my mom to cut my hair. I wanted to be a boy because girls are not allowed to sing, to dance, to laugh loudly, to be happy, to exist.
Imagine if these two lovely girls were your daughters or sisters. I know it's something that seems far, far away, but it is so important. When governments and religious organizations can dictate what we do with our bodies, how we express ourselves, that is a very scary concept. That is not something that is acceptable. We have a responsibility to speak up and be a voice for the voiceless, for those who don't have a voice, just because they happen to be born a girl. They are standing up against the theocracy, against gender apartheid, against a government that seems to feel like it is their duty to police and punish women. I don't know how long this will take, but I stand with them and I pray for them. They are so courageous. I am so touched and inspired. I ask that you open your heart. And if you feel moved, touched, inspired to do something, please write to Congress, share their story, engage in the conversation. This is what this channel is for. I sing this song to the girls in Iran who are not allowed to sing freely in public. I will continue to stand by them and stand up for them and be a voice for those who don't have a voice. For all time, you are loved, even more than you can know. And with each passing day of life, we watch you as you grow, to be more full of wisdom, strength, and divine. Oh, dear sisters, you're a masterpiece, a miracle design. So may the goddess bless you and keep you all alive. And we wish you life and freedom, and may your power grow. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you like what we're doing on this channel. And please remember to support the women and young schoolgirls of Iran who are fighting for their freedom, fighting for their basic human rights.
Human rights is universal, and international community needs to act collectively.
It warns other authoritarian regimes and other patriarchal societies to think twice about women's rights in their own country.
If women in Iran can come out of this and walk down the street without being worried about being stopped, I'm sure that women in Afghanistan will look at that and be like, we want that.
Until the women of Iran are free, we are going to stand with you. Jian, Azadi, women, life, freedom.
Thank you.